Welcome everybody. Round 13 of World Championship recap. World champion Ding Liren under severe time pressure in the game 13 found the only defensive moves to hold off Gukesh. Now it's tied 6.5 6.5 each in the World Championship. Ding heads into the final game with the advantage of white pieces. Let's move on to the game. Gukesh opened 1 e4 e6. Ding Liren returned to his reliable French defense, make its third appearance in the match. d4, d5, knight c3, knight f6, e5, nf d7. It's a French classical system. Knight ce2. Here Gugesh opted for knight ce2, deviating from f4 where he played in the first game. c5, c3, knight c6, a3, bishop e7. Here Ding took 17 minutes to play this bishop e7 move. Bishop e3, knight b6. Again, Ding spent a long time, around 37 minutes for this move. Here, Ding is uh, 40 minutes, more than 40 minutes down than Gugesh in the clock. Knight f4, c takes d4, c takes d4, knight c4, bishop takes c4, d takes c4, knight g2, b5, short castle, short castle, knight c3, rook b8, knight h5, f5, ef6 played in the game. But instead of ef6, there is a move d5 which breaks the center, a very uh, superb move. Computer source d5, e takes d5, then knight takes d5, bishop e6, then knight hf4. If bishop takes d5, queen takes d5, queen takes d5, knight takes d5. Gives slight advantage for white. But we spent 20 minutes to play this. E takes f6 and 9%. Bishop takes f6. Queen f3 by white, Gukesh. But instead of queen f6, there is also uh, knight takes f6. After queen takes f6, d5, e takes d5, queen takes d5, queen e6, rook ft1. This is also gives a small advantage, very small advantage for white. The position seems good, but in game, Kogesh played queen f3, or queen f3, queen e8, knight takes f6, rook takes f6. Here in game, Kogesh played queen e2, but there is a move queen e4. But Ding already mentioned in the press conference, if queen e4, then he have he has bishop b7, which gives equality. But in game, uh, queen e2 played by Kogesh, queen g6, f3, rook f8, rook a d1, knight e7, controlling the d5 square, planning to play knight d5, and also bishop b7 uh, clears the diagonal, which put pressure on the Kugesh king side. After bishop b7, bishop can able to create some attack over the king side. So bishop f4, rook b6, bishop c7. Here, if black plays this rook c6, then knight takes b5 will be a threat, and gives full advantage for white. But in game, after bishop c7, king played this rook b7, bishop d6. Now pins the knight, rook e8. So that knight is a dangerous one, so Gukesh trade his bishop for the knight. Bishop takes e7, rook e takes e7, queen e5, pressuring the b5 pawn, a6, then comes d5. So e takes d5, queen takes d5 check, queen e6. Here Gukesh played a beautiful move which gives some slight advantage. Queen c5, open up the d file for the rook, rook e8, rook d e1. But there is a variation computer source rook f e1, giving his two rooks for a queen. But this seems good after 94, 94, rook b7, then knight d6 after rook e5, queen c7. This seems somehow good for white, but Gukesh played this rook d e1. This is also gives some sort of advantage for white. After queen f7, here Gukesh played this knight e4, but here Gukesh missed the advantage immediately in the next move by playing knight e4. But instead of knight e4, there is a move which which is rook cross e8. After queen takes e8, knight e4, rook d7, knight d6, queen e7, queen takes e8, rook d8, queen takes a6. The pawn advantage. This seems good for white because after rook takes d6, queen takes b5, queen e3 check, king h1. This is somehow good for white with an two pawn advantage, but he missed and he played this knight e4 move, which immediately equalized the position. So rook f8 by Ding. In case if he plays rook c7, this seems a mistake because of knight f6. After queen takes f6, rook takes e8 wins the material. In case of g takes f6, this is also bad because of rook takes e8, queen takes c7 wins an exchange. So after rook f8, it's a only defense which being found very easily. Knight d6, rook c7, queen e5. Here almost Ding is down to 4 minutes. He need to play all the 10 moves. From move 30 onwards, he is surviving in 4 minutes only. He is finding all the only move defense in the game effortlessly, and he's playing a huge defensive role. Saves the game. After queen f6, queen d5 check, king h8, rook e5, rook e7, rook fe1, takes e5, rook takes e5, h6. These are all equal. There is no chance. But Gugesh is keep on trying by continuing the game by playing queen c5, bishop d7, avoiding knight takes e8, so knight e4, queen f4. Now the queen enters into the Gugesh zone, planning to play queen c1 check to get that b2 pawn. Once the b2 pawn is captured, then black has a pass pawn on the c file. So rook e7 with an idea of if queen c1 check, then king moves to f2. If queen takes b2, then king goes to g3, and there is no check, and white is already threatening the bishop. And also, if the bishop is moved, Once the rook moves, queen will attack the f8 rook. There is a trick in that move. So rook e7 is a killer move in this position. So bishop f5 moves the bishop, waiting for queen c1, queen d4, protecting the b2 pawn. At the same time, returning queen takes g7, mating attack. Rook g8 is the defense. h3 by Gukesh, clearing some, creating some square to move the king. Queen c1, king f2, bishop takes e4, rook takes e4. If queen takes e4, then b2 pawn is lost. So rook takes e4 is the only move. c3, pawn sacrifice to weakens the pawn structure. So after b takes e3, queen takes e3. The a pawn is a pass pawn now, but Gukesh managed the position very beautifully, and he played king g3, queen b3, rook e7, holding the black rook, uh, should not move away from the g file, uh, main, maintaining the mating threat, and also keep an eye on the a pawn, a5, being start pushing the a5 pawn, planning to promote rook b7, queen c4, forcing Gukesh to exchange the queens. Once the queens gets exchanged, the pawn is a passer. So being unable to play this rook e8, start pushing the a pawn and creating some pressure in the endgame. The queen e5, Gukesh declined the exchange and he played queen e5, maintaining the threat. Queen c6. Finally, Gukesh also accept the queen trades. And he played this queen takes b5, queen takes e3, rook a7, queen e1 check, king h2, queen b4, queen takes b4, a takes b4, rook b7. It's a clear endgame, but we just keep on trying, and Ding also played this rook a8. So after a long period of time, the rook is moved. Rook takes b4, rook a2, king g3, king h7, rook b5, king g6, f4, king f6, king f3, rook c2, g3. Both the players knows very well about this endgame, so they are playing very fast. There is no uh, improvement on both sides. Rook c3 check, king g4, rook a3, pawn h4, rook c3, rook b6 check, king f7, h5, f5, h5, king f4, rook c4, king f3, rook c3, king f4, rook c4. If king moves to g5, then this rook g4 and uh, Ding will take the g pawn. Once the pawn get captured, then it is easy draw. After king f3 again, Gukesh is also accepting the repetition. Rook c3. Both the players agrees for a draw, and both the players are heading towards the tie breaks. Game 14 will be a slight advantage for Ding because he is playing with the white pieces, but Gukesh will strong to create some tough defense, hold the game, and moving to tie break, or Gukesh will fight for a win. Let's see. Thanks. Stay tuned for the round 14. Bye.